Hello, everybody. Hello, my gorgeous Dom.
Hello, Jules. How are you?
I'm loving your hair.
It is, as I was saying, it's so awkward at the moment. So I thought I've always wanted a pixie, and I've never been brave enough to get one. So this is just the perfect opportunity to just experiment with my hair while it's growing back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially because I know that we've also both always been blondes. We've
And
been blondes our
long,
whole life.
beautiful blonde hair.
And
then
now
from that to baldness to pixie. So I'm very proud of it.
I'm so glad. Have you peroxided it?
Yes.
What have you done?
I'm doing
So
it.
cool.
I'm going Roxette.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so
you.
nice that you've actually, well, it's not nice obviously, but you've had the opportunity to play with it and and just go wow,
Exactly. And it will just grow back in its own time. I'm in no rush. It's a journey. So
it is a journey. It is a journey. Oh, I just want to turn this down here and see what's going on. I want to turn my commentary on. Let me just see here. I want to see how we are live. Give me 2 seconds. I'm so excited that we're finally doing this because it's been a long time I've been wanting to get you on here. Let me just find it here. Let's see, because I'm trying to get that. There we go. There we go. Great. We need to say hello to a few people. Hello, Amy. Hello, Auntie Pat. I'm so glad that you guys have joined us. Gabby's with us. Who else? Please just swipe it and say hi. This beautiful woman, her name is Dominique Borril Swart. She is literally, when I moved to Cape Town 5 years ago, we didn't know each other, and we met via social media.
Yay!
That's how we met. That is how we met. It's the most bizarre thing. And we both actually, we started chatting and we thought, you know what, let's meet up and have a coffee. And we both were pregnant.
Heavily pregnant.
Hey, yeah. It's the most bizarre thing. And that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Dom was pregnant with her 3rd baby, her first baby boy. She's got 2 older girls. And she was pregnant with the older boy. It was Thomas. Yes. And now she's got another one. She's a mom of 4.
Yes. My little Matty. He's gorgeous. Really, I know.
And the one thing that struck me with Dom is she is spectacularly beautiful. If you live in Cape Town, a lot of you probably know Dom, but she is gorgeous.
You may not recognize me.
No, you look exactly the same. It's just you've just now got the Roxette hairdo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Totally cool. I'm owning it.
But you've inspired me so much, and I wanted to share this with everybody else because Dom is one of these women. She's a fitness freak like me. When we met, as I said, we're both pregnant, and all we spoke about is how we're going to get our pre-bodies back, pre-pregnancy bodies back. We just wanted to make sure that we get back to normal. And remember?
I remember. And it's something so small in the greater scheme of things. And we were like obsessed with like losing the weight.
Just wanted to make sure we went back to normal again, which happens.
And it does happen. And it happens quickly. There's no rush.
Yeah, and there is no rush. And you just put in the work and you did it. It's just, you are amazing. Dom has always been into her fitness and bar body and all the rest of it. And she's massive into trail running. Yes. And why I wanted to get her on was because she's going to tell her story now, but she developed breast cancer, which literally floored me. We spoke about this, like it's when it happens to someone close to you, especially someone that is young, that has 4 kids, and that is so fit. Like Dom is literally this perfect person. She is gorgeous. She is.
I wouldn't say so perfect.
Fit. No, but you are. Supermom. It was just when I heard, I was floored. Like, I couldn't actually believe it. And the thing is, it happens close to home, and you never think it's going to happen to you. And I really, really wanted you to share your story with the women out there, and just tell them like what happened, how you got through it, mentally, physically, everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I started developing symptoms actually from about, I had Matty in November 2019, and from about January 2020, I just started feeling really tired. So I think it sort of presented itself with this complete exhaustion, but everybody, even the doctors, put it down to me as presenting as a typical postpartum mom. So they did blood tests, all my hormones were low, my iron was low, my vitamin D was low, which should have actually, the vitamin D should have been a very big red flag. And then while I was breastfeeding Matty, I developed a lump in my right breast, which I assumed was a blocked milk duct, and so did everybody else, including my gynecologist. So I just put it off, and they said it will settle down, and it never ever settled down, and it grew. And we were in lockdown in St. Francis Bay, and it just got to the point where I knew something was up and I had to get it sorted out. So I drove to PE and had.
Was this March? This was March.
This was about
March, April.
It was about March, April. So I had an ultrasound, and they didn't like what they saw. The actual lump had spiculated borders, which is a first giveaway sign that it's cancer. And then I had it biopsied, and I got the call about 2 days later. I was busy lying with Matty on my chest, and the doctor said to me, the breast surgeon said, "I've got terrible news, you've got breast cancer. It's highly aggressive. I need you in my rooms in PE tomorrow. I need to do a CT scan to see if it's spread anywhere else in your body." And that straight away was like the carpet was pulled completely out from underneath me. I literally stood up and I dropped down onto my knees.
As I mean, Matty was what? Oh, babe.
Sorry.
And he was 4 months old.
So we went and I got this CT scan done, and I didn't sleep. Well, prior to that, I didn't sleep the whole night. I couldn't eat. Got to her offices after the CT scan, and she had a big smile on her face. And I was like, "This is good news." And she said to me, "We've caught it. It's in your breast only. You've got one suspicious lymph node in your armpits that the CT scan picked up, but that could just be purely reactive to the biopsy we did on your breast. And we need to treat this." So I was put in contact with an oncologist in Cape Town called Irene Buddinghouse. She's at Vincent Pallosi. And I did a Zoom call with her, and she convinced me to come back to Cape Town to start chemo immediately. So there's two different kinds where you can treat a breast cancer. You can first have the surgery and then have the chemo. That's called adjuvant chemo. So it's after surgery. She actually recommended neoadjuvant chemo to me, which is chemo before surgery. And the whole goal with neoadjuvant is to shrink the tumor to a size where you can conserve your breast, or it's also used as something to measure the chemo against. So we kept the tumor in my breast to see if the chemo was working on it. And that was, I think, the best route, because once you've had your breast cut off, there's nothing to measure the chemo against. True. So we kept the tumor, and I started aggressive chemotherapy literally the next week. It was 5 months. The first lot of chemo was called the Red Devil. It's adriamycin. It's one of the most toxic chemotherapies that exists in the world. It's a bag of red chemotherapy, and they pump that into your veins. And that's the chemo that makes your hair fall out and makes you very nauseous. So by the second round of that, I was bald. It was very, very tough, the adriamycin, the Red Devil. I literally felt like I was carrying a big load of bricks on my shoulders. You just feel flattened, you sleep all day, and you can get nauseous, but the meds were really, really great. So I didn't throw up once during my entire chemo experience. So I had 4 rounds of that, and then a 2-week break, and then I started with 12 weeks of Taxol, which is a taxane-based therapy, which is just as good. And then between the 2 lots of chemo, they did an ultrasound on the tumor to see my response. And the first lot of chemo shrunk my tumor right down to 6 millimeters. So from 2.2 centimeters to 6 millimeters.
Wow.
Which was amazing.
Wow.
And then I did 12 weeks of the Taxol. And by the time that I had surgery, they couldn't pick a tumor up at all. on the
I
ultrasound.
spoke to you
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, which was fantastic. And then I waited 10 days and we decided we opted for a double mastectomy because my breast tissue was very dense. And if I decided to have the lumpectomy and keep my breasts, I would constantly be feeding my breast for lumps. And it would be very difficult to pick up cancer in dense breasts. So we opted for skin sparing and nipple sparing mastectomy. They look fantastic. I haven't got my permanent implants in yet. They've got things called tissue expanders in behind my pec muscles. So I've got breasts. They're actually great. The size is perfect. And you get used to them. They're a little bit irritating at first, but you get used to them. And yeah, but my pathology at surgery, the pathologist found a couple of microscopic cancerous cells left in my breast tissue. So I had a 98% response to chemo, which is fantastic.
That's amazing.
My lymph nodes were clear. So that was all, the chemo really, really works. I mean, I do, yeah.
So how long has your treatment been so far?
I started in July last year.
Yeah.
And I had my surgery the 11th of December. And I'm starting radiation next week, which is just as a preventative measure. I don't need it, but I pushed for it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw everything I can at this chemo, and also using now complementary therapies to aid with healing and to prevent recurrence. But yeah, it was really a humbling experience, especially for someone like me who's very active.
That's the thing.
It knocked me for a loop. It knocked me like you have no idea. But I got up every day. I put my running shoes on. I went out there and I trained. There were 5 days in 5 months that I didn't do exercise.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is what blows my brain is here you are that has got 4 children, has got cancer and going through chemo, and it doesn't knock you down. You still get up and you still do it, and it made you feel better. How did it make you feel?
Well, it was very, very, the 5 days I didn't do it were literally the days after the hectic chemo where I was flattened. And even when I was feeling tired, I found just putting my gym stuff on, putting my shoes on, and going out onto the prom or going onto Lion's Head, which is where I always run, or onto Table Mountain. Once you're there, it's like any workout. It's the motivation to get dressed to get there. Once you're there, and I thought to myself, if I'm going through cancer, I can do this. If I can do cancer, I can do this. And I did it. And somehow, by God's grace, I did it. I exercised every day, bounced back so quickly between my treatments, my doctors couldn't believe it. My surgeon was like, how on earth are you managing to run through this? I cannot. And he said to me, I haven't seen anybody be able to train the way that you're training through chemo. And he said to me, whatever you're doing is working because the cancer is disappearing. And I mean, 3 weeks after my mastectomy, I did my first run and before that, I bought myself a spin bike. So 1 week after surgery, I was on my spin bike spinning to get the endorphin rush, and then started running slowly, and now I'm running again. And
amazing. You are unbelievable. You are unbelievable.
It's really hard, especially when you're given such a diagnosis. So my diagnosis, when I was first diagnosed, I thought breast cancer was breast cancer, and there was only one kind of breast cancer. There are many, 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 many kinds of breast cancer and subtypes. And unfortunately, I've got one of the most aggressive ones. It's called triple negative. So it's negative for estrogen, progesterone, and HER2 protein, which means there's no targeted therapy for it. The only thing that they can give me is chemotherapy, and then we hope for the best. And yeah, so I'm just taking it day by day now. And I mean, my scans are clear. And yeah, just starting with the radiation and keeping a positive mindset and exercising every day. That for me is medicinal. That's part of my prevention of recurrence. So you know, a lot of the ladies I did the chemo with
There as well.
couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. They had terrible side effects. They got terrible neuropathy in their fingertips, which means you lose sensation and you get pain in your extremities. I never had that. And my oncologist says it's because I exercised, because my circulation was going the whole time. Yeah, and I've got the most hair out of everybody as well. So maybe exercise stimulates hair growth. I don't know.
If you're on chemo, if you're having chemo or cancer treatment, make sure you're exercising because your hair will grow back.
Your hair will grow back and it will grow back quickly. I mean, this is 7 weeks of hair growth.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's, you know what, it's, and anything, I mean, for me, I think, I'm not saying that chemo is easy, and I'm not saying, for me, the biggest struggle has been the mental struggle. So I've got a therapist I see every week, and he's really, really great. He specializes in trauma and bereavement counseling, because for me, I find it's the mental aspect which has been the hardest aspect, because I have little kids and I want to be here and see them grow up. I can do the treatment. I can do the treatment. I can get sick. I can handle sickness. I can handle pain. You can throw it all at me, but I want to be here for my kids. Like, the mental part has been really bad. I won't lie. I have my moments, and every day can sometimes be a roller coaster. You know, I can't wait for the day that I wake up and I don't think of cancer. Because at the moment it's still very raw. So I wake up and it's the first thing I think of. And throughout the day I'm researching to see if there's alternative therapies I can use. Before I go to bed, I think about it. But I've spoken to a lot of ladies and they say it's like that for a long time. And eventually you'll wake up one day and it won't be the first thing on your mind. So I can't wait for that day.
I'm just like, I'm reading some of these, well, I haven't read them, but I'm seeing some of these messages are pouring through here saying how incredible you are. I cannot begin to express how much I needed to sit and listen to this today. You are sensational. You look incredible. Dom, you are so strong and beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. You must see these messages coming through, because it really is. Especially if you are a mom. Can you even imagine having to go through this? I mean, anyone that is a mom out there, can you imagine you get diagnosed with breast cancer and this? I can't get over your strength.
I never thought it would happen to me. I had all the genetic testing done. It's all negative. I hardly drink. I mean, I don't drink at all. I don't smoke, exercise, eat well. The doctor said to me, it was,
you are this pillar of health. This is
completely
the thing. It can
sporadic. And you know the myth that if you breastfeed, you don't get breast cancer. That's absolute myth. I mean, I was breastfeeding when I got it. And a lot of women with my type of cancer, I've been doing a lot of reading. A lot of them are diagnosed in pregnancy and they go through chemo during pregnancy. And their babies are fine. Their babies are absolutely fine.
Amazing. It's unbelievable.
And this particular type, triple negative, seems to affect African women, Black African women, and women younger than 35 and with a genetic mutation called BRCA1 and BRCA2.
Yes. But you were negative for those. So
I don't know what it was. I'm just a freak.
Guys, I'm telling you now, you are a freak. But you're a freak in every way, and in good ways. But you know, for those of you listening, when this happened to Dom, it totally whipped the rug from underneath me, because she is the last person I would have ever thought to have got cancer. I mean, my dad got lung cancer and died, and he'd never smoked in his life. Not, you know, so it can happen to anyone. But I booked my appointment to see Dr. Paula Penkin. I went to see her, said, you need to just check out like everything, check the plumbing out, whatever you need to do. And she's put me on to someone else. And I've got my appointment next week, Wednesday, for my first mammogram, because I am 40 years old. But I listened to what you said. You said, don't just do the mammogram, do the ultrasound. Mammogram, that's what I'm doing next Wednesday.
My mammogram,
why?
It missed it completely. I went for the mammogram. I was diagnosed, obviously. Then they wanted to do the mammogram. They did the mammogram. It picked up that thing because I've got very fibrous, dense breasts. So cancer likes to hang out in those fibers, and it's very difficult to see them. If you are an older woman and you've got a lot of fatty breast tissue, mammogram is the way to go. It's much easier to pick up a tumor in fatty tissue than dense tissue. If you are a young woman, or your doctor says to you you've got dense breasts, get an ultrasound done. Because there on the ultrasound, bam, was this massive, disgusting looking tumor. And the mammogram picked up nothing.
It's
nothing
insane.
at all.
Absolutely insane. I can't get over it.
But, and I also advise you to constantly, when you're in the shower and you're in the bath, there's no such thing as examining your breast too much. I would say every 2 weeks at least, because breasts are tissues that respond to hormones, and your hormones are constantly fluctuating. So the texture, the fibrosity, everything changes throughout the month because of your hormones. Check them regularly. I never used to check my breasts because I have no family history of breast cancer. No family history. It never crossed my mind. I was under 40. I thought that only comes later when you're like 50 and 60.
I know.
So I was in the best shape of my life. I was training for a 111-kilometer trail run when I was diagnosed. And I couldn't understand
40 in the middle of chemo. Didn't you turn 40 in the middle of chemo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I turned 40, yeah. In the November, just before I ended the chemo, I turned 40. Yeah. I was 39 when I went through it. But one of the biggest signs for me was I remember having the phone call with my mom, and I said, Mom, there's something wrong. And it's so amazing how your body knows. You've got this intuition. Don't dismiss any gut feeling that you have. I said to my mom, something is wrong. I cannot explain this level of exhaustion that I'm feeling. And I thought maybe it's because I'm a new mom and I'm tired and I'm depleted. But this was a tiredness that I cannot explain to anybody. I literally felt like I could sleep for days. And that straight away was like, something is not right. That's when I went for my blood tests. And they picked up nothing. They just said to me, you're presenting as a typical postpartum mom. And bam, if I look at my blood results now, it was there. Vitamin D.
Crazy.
And I'm always out in the sun, exercising, training. My vitamin D was rock bottom, and that is a sign for breast cancer.
Especially if you were out in the sun the entire time and you didn't have any vitamin D.
No,
but incredible. Like I just, I'm sorry. You must see this. It's like it's unbelievable. The whole point of these Jeff Ed sessions is to teach those that are watching, to inspire them and to make people make changes in their life if they need to. Like, with you, I automatically went and I've booked myself to get, I've been to the gynae, but now to have like the mammogram and everything done. But like it's with everything, and we take our health for granted. I say this repeatedly. We take our health for granted. We've got Darren Thomas that has started instructing on Saturday. He is paralyzed. He doesn't have any legs. And he says to us when he instructs, he says, guys, like lift those legs. At least you got those legs to lift. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. And it's the same. It's the same thing. We need to appreciate our health. We need to look after ourselves. We need to eat well. We need to do, even though you've done all of this, but you need to also just give yourself a check. We want to be around for our kids, and that is what with you. I met you pregnant. I know you as a friend, as a mom, and the thought that's what I think just broke me the most is you just had your baby and then you had to go through that. It was taken away from you those special times.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This is the time that I can't take back, But now what it's taught me is that you just throw yourself into your kids. Like, even if you're tired and you're frustrated with them, or, you'd rather be getting a coffee with a mate or whatever. Like, I'm now with my kids all the time, because you just never know. You never know. It's so frightening. And also about going back to the health, taking health for granted. I thought I was invincible. I mean, I thought this is never going to happen to me because I'm so healthy. I hardly get sick. I have beautiful blood pressure, like the best blood pressure. all my checks, my health checks have been amazing. And bam, out of nowhere, just.
I'm so glad that you went and got checked out. That you
This is the thing.
Oh.
If I had listened to the other guy and you said, it's just a block of milk, I shuddered to think what stage I'd be at, because it spreads like wildfire. It's literally like they say. They use the analogy of dropping a glass. So you drop this glass and it shatters, and you scoop it up. That's like the chemo. You scoop it up and you throw it all in the bin. But there may be a piece here and a piece there that's stuck behind the couch or under your bag or whatever. Now, this is how cancer is in your body. Like, although I'm clear,
you need to try and find
am I really clear? There may be a couple of rogue cells floating around. So it's sort of like you just got to sit and wait. So the first 5 years are the most crucial. If it's going to come back, they've told me it will come back within the first 3 to 5 years. After 5 years, with my cancer, the rate of recurrence is very low after 5 years. So I'm doing everything I can now. I'm throwing everything at it. I've done a full-on address of my diets. I'm following an anti-cancer diet and a protocol from the Cancer Care in the UK. This book, How to Starve Cancer, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, I've got to just carry on exercising and just enjoying my family. So, I consider myself lucky because, the chemo worked for me. There's some women that the chemo does nothing, and the tumor carries on growing. So I've been blessed. I've really been blessed.
I want to read you some of these because it really is amazing. I'm going to start crying now.
Gosh.
Taryn says, thank you so much for sharing. Christina says, you're a force of nature, such an incredible story. Someone else, you're a true inspiration, you're a legend. Dominique Borril, amazing to see your face. You've always been an amazing woman and you just go from strength to strength. Huge love to you. That was Lisa Nichols. Incredible story. Bronwyn Olivier, Dom, you're absolutely inspirational. Someone else says they're sobbing. You're a true warrior. I thank you so much for it. I want you to go back and look at this. It's unbelievable. And
I just feel it's my duty. It really is my duty because I don't want anybody to have to go through this.
Yeah.
I think it's my challenge in life that I've been presented with. So, people have challenges all the time. This is my mountain to climb, and so please check your breasts. Check your breasts all the time because you never know that 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer. And as my gynae said to me, that gynae, not my actual gynae, the gynae I went to said to me, don't worry, 4 out of 5 lumps are benign. You've got nothing to worry about. And I was the 1 out of 5. So you think you're invincible and you're untouchable, but you're not. That person could be you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lifelong journey for me, and it's something I've got to learn to live with and to manage. I'm managing it physically really well. My challenge, as I said earlier, is the mental aspect, because I tend to overthink a lot and I tend to research a lot, and I get very caught up in the statistics. So that's my challenge, is to actually just let go and hand it over to God, who's been there for me the whole time.
You are unbelievable. I know that your faith has grown so much as well.
Yeah, no, it has. It has.
Which is amazing. And we've got a minute left, but I just thank you so much for doing this. I know that I've asked you a while ago. I'm glad that we finally got round to it, but I'm just so glad that there have been a lot of people watching, and more are going to watch it later. And it is so inspiring, because if you can change one person, because you never know that there might be one person in here that goes and gets checked and they catch it, and that's what matters. Do you know what I mean? I
cannot stress it enough. go for your checkups. And I don't even mean your breast. Go for your colonoscopies. Go for your gynecological checkups. Ovarian cancer, silent killer. And often when they catch it, it's too late. Go and get your checkups done, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you found this so inspiring. It's really, Dom is amazing. You can see that she is a supermodel. She's a super mom. She really is a supermodel. I was so taken aback when I saw her. I was like, this chick is just gorgeous.
Nonsense.
She's so beautiful. But she's as beautiful inside, and she's an amazing mom, an amazing human. Go and do that, guys. I hope that's inspired you. And yeah, go check those breasts, girls. Go and check those breasts.
All the time.
Tommy, love you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Bye, guys.
Bye.